We wanted to go right into our review for Honor Among Thieves
of Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Yeah. You know, I know that some of our friends group was maybe a little on the I don't know what you want to call it, on the edge. We're just kind of like, I don't know how this movie's gonna be.
I mean, I was one of those too.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a lot of hope, I guess. I mean, I thought like going in 50-50 chance on it being a good or bad movie.
Yeah, I personally, ever since the trailers, I was really into this movie.
Yeah.
And it exceeded my expectations, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, it exceeded mine. I just have to know how strong like the dialogue and comedy of this movie is. Like, I guess I wasn't expecting that good of writing, because it really did feel at points like this was a true like tabletop group.
Yeah.
And they were just having a good time, like shooting the shit, and the jokes just flowed so well. And
yeah, I wonder with normal audiences who have like never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I wonder if, I'm assuming it's gonna work, because
I think so.
Because for me, I could see when it was just there. This is clearly like an insane thing, or a funny thing that somebody would like fuck up during a campaign, or it would just be like, we're gonna have this insane weird character, and it's just hilarious, and we're gonna give them the most like sad backstory ever.
Yeah. That's what I was definitely looking for. Like, I was looking for the tabletop experience where and I will say, like, some of that isn't in the movie for me, but like what is there is like a group that is traveling around, and each one gets their spotlight on their backstory or something. It's not like as big as the main character, but like everyone does get their moment to shine.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that there was. I mean, if you want to give a main character, it's Chris Pine's character,
it is,
but it still, even he didn't. It felt like everybody had, like he was kind of the main character, but all of the stories really. Were
like everyone had their
same.
grievances with either the Red Witches or Hugh Grant's character, Forge. I'm actually surprised I remember that name. But yeah, so yeah, like I was just super happy that everyone really got their own like backstory and character, and no one was just like a true side character.
And every character was very interesting, fleshed out, fun to be around for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, I truly liked.
I don't think there wasn't a character that I didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one that I think is like, and I don't even mind that she's so one note, but it's the Red Witch. She's just super one note, and that's fine. Yeah, but like
she's just a villain.
Yeah, and that's fine. She served her purpose for the movie.
I like the character of the druid.
I do too.
But she, I mean, I guess if there was one thing about her,
she's just a little like flat, maybe.
Just her acting wasn't, but just her, like I understand her motivations, but like outside of that, like there wasn't a whole lot riding on with her. I feel like.
Sure. I mean, she wanted to protect her people.
She went, but there wasn't like very much more. Like
I mean, even for Simon, there wasn't a ton there. It was just that Forge had betrayed him too.
But Simon was like, there was the whole thing about him gaining confidence and wanting to date the druid girl.
Right.
Though I don't know why I can't remember her name, but sure. Yeah, but like I feel like with him, like he still had a little bit more like arcs going on, whereas like she was like she had but like she was more of just like, I just want to help my people out, and she did want to she did learn to like humans
the same
more.
I would say the same with like Michelle Rodriguez's character. It was just, I'm just saying, like, she didn't have a ton of like of growth or like motivation for the story. It was just that Chris Pine's character was her best friend, and that she had raised this girl as well.
Sure, but she wanted to show like her ex-husband, like, you shouldn't have left me, and like there was a bit of like a
sure.
She had left her people, and now she's found her people.
And I have to say, Bradley Cooper was amazing.
Oh yeah.
He plays her ex in the movie, and he's a halfling.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's
one of the best parts of the entire movie.
I wasn't expecting it at all, and yeah, it's a great scene of him just kind of like letting her down almost, and it's so funny.
What were you gonna say? Sorry,
I mean, I didn't have I guess a segue there, but other than that, like, another like great scene was the graveyard scene where I mean, that's the thing too, is that there was like all these nice spells to see, like I don't play D&D like 5th edition, but I play Pathfinder 2nd edition, which is like a game kind of based off of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And like, so these spells I see in that game are like, are from the movie as well. And like there was chain lightning in the beginning, and then there's like reanimate corpse, which I don't know like what they're totally called in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those spells were just super cool to see, and they in the reanimate corpse was just, they used it in such a good way. And I mean, I don't want to spoil too much for the comedy. But
definitely we shouldn't do that. But yeah, definitely the corpse scene, the scene with Bradley Cooper, a scene towards like in the third act of Chris Pine's character playing the lute was particularly hilarious.
That was a great one where the spell gone wrong.
So yeah, this movie's hilarious. It's got emotional moments too, especially in the beginning and the end. And it's,
I would say the one at the end didn't necessarily hit for me, but
I don't know, it hit for me.
Yeah.
I saw it coming.
I don't know if
a little bit.
Did we mention this as a spoiler review? I feel like we keep forgetting to do that.
We never do.
Spoiler review for Dungeons and Dragons. I'm just gonna say it right here just to cut it in.
Okay. Sure.
But so because it's a spoiler review, so Michelle Rodriguez's character takes a blade at the end, and so she ends up having to sacrifice, where I didn't feel like it was maybe needed or felt right for the moment, but she ends up passing for a little bit.
Yeah.
And because Chris Pine's character's arc is to resurrect his wife, he got this resurrection stone and decided to use it on her. Mm-hmm. It was a one-use thing.
Yeah.
And so the movie wraps up pretty nicely in that way. I think we could have gotten there a little better, but like I get what the scene was trying to do.
What would you have done differently? Because
I don't
for
know.
me, like it made sense. Like he was like, well, she raised her. She needs her more than she needs her mom that she barely knew.
I agree. Like I think that moment works a little because it does show like the closeness again of the daughter and her. But I don't know. It just I don't know what it was. It just felt like the death like was just a little forced for me.
Yeah, maybe I could maybe see that.
I don't know what I'd do differently, honestly, though.
To me, like it was a little predictable, but that's kind of what that's kind of what makes this movie good. Mm-hmm. Is there is a lot of predictable moments.
Yeah.
But what makes the movie good is that it's written really well, and it's funny, and it's acted well.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It's just a fun movie.
That too, with the writing, they wrote some great plans for the characters.
Yeah.
Like and that's the exciting thing too, is that like a group, going into a situation at a table, like has to make a plan, and sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes they do, and like they showed that throughout this movie, and like the stuff that did work was amazing, like the like her turning into a snake in that cube.
Oh yeah,
where that was incredible, and the portals with the cart was a great plan.
Yeah, what was that called? A thiffer whiffer I don't know. It was,
I don't even know.
but it was a cool staff.
Yeah, it was great. Now I will say
Chris Pine hitting people with a lute. That's his weapon.
That's kind of where I was going. I will say my least favorite part of this movie is Chris Pine's ability to have no abilities. I think it's like, yes, you should, have a party leader, and what he did, like, would in a normal group would make playing it so much more like efficient and concise, because he's got those plans in lock.
Sure.
But I don't know if I would love having a player with me that was just making plans and was useless everywhere else. Like the Drew girl had a huge point. She's like, well, what do you do? He's like, I make plans. He wasn't like, he was meant to be a bard.
that was part of the like they were aware of this, and if they didn't mention it, maybe people would be a little bit more frustrated, because
they're aware.
So they're aware, and
it doesn't mean I like it.
Sure. I mean, he had the emotional arc. Mm-hmm. It was his. He was the catalyst of getting this whole thing going.
Right. As a character, I thought it was a good story and a good motivation.
Yeah.
I just would have liked for him to not be so reliant heavy on his party members. But and that's the thing too.
I mean, that's fair.
I was wanting more group fights, and we didn't get one until like the very end.
Mm-hmm.
It was mainly just solo battles up until the end.
All the action though, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. That's just like the D&D experience for me, is like getting in a group fight and seeing how it all plays out. But
yeah, maybe in a sequel, we could get more of that, because that would be fun to see, like a character roll a 0.
Nat 1, yeah,
right. Or Nat 1, and then just see how the other characters have to react to that.
Sure, yeah.
So I mean, that would be cool.
Absolutely.
Speaking of sequels, if they did one to this, would you want an entirely new cast, or would you like to follow this cast?
I think I would be okay with either. Gosh, that's interesting, because I do really like sequels to like a past campaign, which this is what it would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think doing another like movie in this world where it's Dungeons and Dragons and another subtitle, and it's just a new cast, would be great. I think it could work really well.
Yeah, I think it could work too. That was on my mind, like after seeing the movie, like because I'm assuming this is doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
So I'm just like I'm just wondering, is it the cast and the characters that we got that is necessary to make another one, or is it just like they wrote a good story and they have the ability to write another good story with another great cast of characters?
I think maybe where I'm leaning right now, like I think they'd have the ability to do that with a new cast and like make them funny as well, or have them bring their comedic talents.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think with the sequel to this one, it could just end up in like a rehash of like old jokes, and it might not be as good. So
yeah, I'm almost leaning towards I want like a new cast and a new campaign,
something new, like original. Right? Yeah,
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah, I think no, I really love this movie. It was really I was telling Ian right before we started this that it might be my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy.
Which he was saying like better than John Wick 4, and maybe now I have to think about that. But I really did like this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Hugh Grant was fucking just
when I heard
so fucking good.
Hugh Grant was going to be the villain, I didn't think that was going to turn out well, but he ended up just being a figurehead for the villain, and I think that's what worked. He was this idiot as well who just wanted money, and I was like, okay, this works.
Yeah. I think my favorite character was probably Michelle Rodriguez's character, Olga.
I could believe that.
God,
Holga. Yes, that's her name. Okay.
God,
yeah.
she was so good.
Yeah, she was great. I didn't expect her to be good either, though. Like, I thought she had been just this actor who had just been like doing a ton of Fast and Furious movies. And,
true. Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, well, she's just gonna be her one note self.
I don't know. I really like her.
She was good.
I want to see more. I want to see her do more. Things like just be a badass.
Sure. Yeah.
Dude, like, I don't know. I like her. She's cool. She's really
I wouldn't
cool.
mind seeing her in something else now that I've seen her in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like they integrated the creatures, like weird creatures. Because like
sure.
I've only played Pathfinder with you guys. Like I'm not as aware as of like the creatures in Dungeons and Dragons as much, but yeah, like they have like some sort of holographic or psionic leopards or panthers and
I had never seen those, so that was pretty wild.
That was cool. They have like a pudgy fat dragon. That was amazing.
That was amazing. I forgot about that scene.
Oh my god, that was an incredible choice to do.
There was just a lot of cool creatures that like built the world up, like you had the walking brains and that at the beginning of that cavern you had the owl bear that she was like transforming into. That was great.
That was cool. I was when I watched the trailers I was like, is she only gonna turn into an owl bear? And luckily I will say
that was a good scene with her when she first did her first like sneak through.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that was intense. That's what I was gonna say. Like that was really well done.
Yeah.
The only issue I have with that because it really is really good because she's trying to she's trying to find out what the protection is for the vault that they want to get into. Mm-hmm. And when the red wizard, Red Witch, when she like spots it and does this terrifying shriek.
Gosh. Yeah, that was scary as hell.
She was very scary and very creepy.
No, I like that scene a lot.
But when she's just gunning it out and turning into like an assortment of creatures.
It's funny. I counted how many transitions there were. I think it was 7.
Yeah, it was. But the only issue I have with that is at the very, very end when she turns into a deer, even though it's like a joke that they go back to.
Right.
That Red Witch probably could have gotten that deer. Like that deer was not running that fast. It was behind
bars, right?
Huh?
It was behind bars. Like it wasn't even like the deer was protected by like the bars of the gate, right?
No, but like even before that, like it wasn't like running super fast. Like it was just kind of hopping. And,
right.
Like it's
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple little things in this that I could point out, but it's just like I'm just nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, I don't want to nitpick necessarily. I think to be honest, story wise and with all the actions of the characters, I don't really like everything made sense.
I'm pretty happy with the story that was put out.
So
I'm overall pretty satisfied.
If you haven't seen it, you really like, even if you don't like if you've never played Dungeons and Dragons, maybe if you've never watched anything fantasy, I feel like it's not that difficult to understand what's going on. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, it's a pretty simple story.
You don't need to know anything about anything. Like it'll explain it to you.
It's definitely not just for fans, right? It could be for anybody.
Yeah.
So if you aren't into it, maybe this will get you into it.
That's true, and maybe you can, talk to some people about starting a campaign.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's pretty fun.
It's very fun. Yeah.
Or go listen to a campaign online, because that's how I got into it. Critical Role. Was just watching people play it.
Right.
And then you're like, this is pretty fun. Like I kind of want to do this. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. No, solid. No, better than solid.
Yeah, better than solid.
Very, very good movie. Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. I did it again. Thank you all for listening to this episode today. If you want to listen to future podcasts in the future, we are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. If you want to check us out on our social medias, we are at LastWeekThisWeekPod and on Instagram and TikTok. On our YouTube, we're Last Week This Week, and we post our reviews separately there. If you are only interested in the movies we review or the shows we review, but we also have our shorts and full videos there as well.
Yep.
So yeah, if you want to support us and like what you listened to today, we'd greatly appreciate a like, a comment, a rating on any of those platforms.
Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, we don't have a review. We would love a review. We'd love a positive review. And we've said on many podcasts before, if you want, we will take a picture of this review. We will frame it. We will put it on our Instagram. You will be the first Last Week This Week, in the lore
in
review.
Our official lore.
So help us out. It would mean a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very appreciated if you want to be the first one.
But if you got all the way to the end here today, we greatly appreciate you and want to thank you for listening.
Yeah, enjoy the music that's playing right now, and until next time.